Have you ever had that feeling, that sort of sinking sensation, like you're tangled up in something huge and invisible, maybe some big system, and you're just trying to figure out the rules, but they keep changing?
Oh, absolutely. Or you're trying to get a straight answer, maybe from customer service or some official process, and it just leads to more questions.
Exactly. Every answer just opens up another confusing door.
Yeah.
It's that feeling we want to get into today.
That moment where you realize the system isn't just complicated, it feels like it's meant to be confusing. You're
Yeah.
suddenly playing a game, but you don't know the rules or even who else is playing. It's really unsettling.
It really is. And that feeling, that sort of universal bewilderment, that's what we're diving into. Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive.
Yep, this is where we take a whole stack of sources, articles, notes, research, and boil it all down to the key insights so you can get informed fast.
And today, we are taking a deep dive into a novel that captures that feeling perfectly. Franz Kafka's The Trial.
It's amazing, really, written over a century ago, but it feels so incredibly relevant, doesn't it? Echoes in, dealing with bureaucracy, legal stuff, even just big impersonal companies sometimes.
Right. Even if you haven't actually read the book, you probably have a sense of what Kafkaesque means.
Exactly. That term itself tells you how deeply it resonated.
So our mission today is to unpack why The Trial is still such a powerful book. We want to get into its big ideas, absurdity, alienation, power, and figure out why Kafkaesque became, well, a word we all understand.
And maybe touch briefly on Kafka himself. He was a really key figure in modernist literature, which was all about breaking from old traditions, focusing on the inner experience, which often felt fragmented or confusing.
And he definitely paved the way for existentialist thinking, too. Ideas about individual freedom, responsibility, finding meaning when the universe seems indifferent.
Yeah, his whole thing was exploring that struggle, the individual versus these huge, baffling systems. It really sets the stage for what the trial is all about.
What's incredible is how he wasn't just writing about his time. He somehow tapped into something fundamental about power and bureaucracy that just feels timeless.
He really did. It wasn't just observation. It feels like he diagnosed a condition of modern life that's only gotten maybe more intense. That feeling of being an outsider, tangled up in the very thing that excludes you. It's powerful stuff.
Okay, so let's get into the story itself. For the main character, Josef K, this whole nightmare kicks off. Well, pretty ordinarily.
Right. He's a respectable bank employee, a chief cashier. Life's pretty predictable.
Until his 30th birthday. He wakes up, and there are these two strangers, agents, in his room. They tell him he's arrested.
And this is the crucial part, they don't say why. No crime mentioned, no details, just you're arrested.
And then the weirdest bit. They say he's technically arrested, but he's free to go about his normal life. For now. Imagine that. Accused, but free.
It's immediately disorienting. That's the genius of it. It's not a normal arrest with charges. It's just this vague, abstract act of power.
And so Kay tries to figure it out. What are the charges? Who's accusing him? Where even is this court?
But every attempt just pulls him deeper in. It's like a labyrinth. He finds out the courts aren't in grand buildings, but in these dusty attics and apartment blocks. Totally detached from anything normal.
It really is a slow-motion nightmare. The book just follows his struggle, which gets more and more frantic, trying to fight this opaque, overwhelming bureaucracy.
Yeah, our sources call it that. It's a system that doesn't seem interested in justice, just in its own continuation. It just grinds people down.
And you see Kay change. He starts off rational, confident, thinking it's all a mistake he can clear up.
Right, like anyone would.
But gradually he gets consumed by it. Paranoid, desperate. His job suffers, his relationships start to fray. Everything is seen through the lens of this trial.
Which brings up a huge question, right?
Right.
If the system is designed to be confusing, if it resists logic, what chance does one person actually have?
Exactly. Josef K becomes this sort of everyman figure, caught in something absurd, losing his agency, not because someone is actively evil, but just because the system is so impersonal and indifferent.
He's not fighting a villain. He's fighting fog, like you said earlier. A vast, indifferent fog.
Okay, let's talk about the characters. We've got Josef K, the protagonist. As you said, an everyman, not really a hero.
No, not in the traditional sense. He starts out indignant, rational, trying to use logic.
But the system doesn't respond to logic. So his confidence just erodes. He gets obsessed with trying to understand something that might be fundamentally unintelligible. He unravels, really.
Yeah, he gets consumed by the process itself. And then you have the court officials.
Right, who aren't really distinct people, are they?
Not really. They're more like symbols, extensions of the bureaucracy. The examining magistrate, the warders, the clerks, they feel interchangeable.
Cogs in the machine.
Exactly. They represent this power that has no real accountability. It's authority without a face, which makes it impossible to confront directly. They're just instruments.
A machine that just is, no one seems to be driving it. And then there are the women in his life, Fraulein Bursner, Lainey the nurse.
Yeah, and they're interesting because they aren't just simple romantic interests. They kind of reflect his entanglement and, weirdly, increase his alienation.
How so?
Well, his relationships get twisted by the trial. They offer maybe some comfort or distraction, but often they seem connected to the court in some way, or they just highlight how isolated he's become because of the trial. They don't offer a real escape.
So even intimacy gets warped by this process.
Completely. The personal and the judicial just blur together. It really ramps up his isolation, showing how the system gets everywhere. And you have other figures, too, like the advocate Hull.
The lawyer who doesn't really help.
Right, very pompous, stuck in bed. And then there's Block, the merchant, who's been fighting his own trial for years.
Oh, yeah, he's a chilling character.
Yeah.
Totally broken down by the system.
A bleak picture of what Kay might become. A warning, almost.
Okay, this leads us perfectly into the major themes. This is where the book really shines, I think. First up, the absurd.
Absolutely central. It's not just that things are illogical, it's that the whole reality Kay inhabits, especially the legal system, seems to fundamentally defy reason. The laws are unknown, the procedures make no sense, the outcomes feel arbitrary.
It connects to that existentialist idea, doesn't it? Like Kafka is showing a world where there's no inherent meaning, no divine plan, and people are just left grappling with this indifference.
Precisely. The absurdity isn't just a plot point, it's a philosophical statement. The justice system isn't working towards justice, it's just operating pointlessly, forcing Kay to confront this lack of inherent order. Like a game with no rules, but devastating consequences.
And running parallel to that is bureaucracy and oppression. The court isn't just annoying like bad customer service.
No, it's much deeper. It's faceless, illogical, and designed to crush the individual. Its purpose seems to be asserting its own power and perpetuating itself.
Remember how Kay finds the offices in those cramped, stuffy attics?
Yeah, that detail is brilliant. It suggests this hidden, almost parasitic nature. It's not grand and official. It's lurking in the margins, but has total control.
And it resonates today, right? We all have those moments battling some impenetrable system. Kafka just takes it to the extreme to show how psychologically crushing it can be.
It strips away your agency, your identity, even your humanity, just through sheer opacity and self-preservation. Resistance feels almost impossible because you can't even grasp what you're fighting against. It feeds on confusion.
Which ties into the next theme, the ambiguity of guilt and innocence. Kay is arrested, but he never finds out the crime.
That ambiguity is key. Is he guilty of something specific we just don't know? Or is he guilty just by existing in this flawed world? Or is guilt itself just imposed by the accusation?
But how do you prove innocence against an unknown charge? You can't.
Exactly. The court never clarifies. So Kay is left in this constant state of doubt, questioning himself, questioning his whole life. It's psychological torture.
It really challenges our basic ideas of justice. What is guilt if it's never defined? What is innocence if it can never be proven?
It forces you to think, maybe Kay's crime is just being human in an unjust system. Or maybe it's some kind of universal original sin type of guilt. His attempts to confess or explain are just met with nothing. Indifference.
Leading inevitably to alienation. That feeling of being disconnected.
Profoundly, Kay is cut off from understanding, from real connection, even from himself. The trial takes over everything.
His relationships, his work, his old life just fades away.
Yeah, the trial doesn't just isolate him from society, it isolates him from his own sense of self. He becomes defined by the accusation. Detached, estranged, just waiting for something that might never come. He stops truly living.
Let's talk symbolism now, because Kafka uses settings and situations so effectively. The court itself, it's more than a place, right?
Oh, definitely. It's a huge metaphor for that incomprehensible authority, maybe even the irrationality of life itself. It's everywhere and nowhere.
Hiding in attics, not in official buildings.
Which makes its power feel even more insidious, right? Shadowy, unofficial, but inescapable. Like a parasite feeding on the lives caught within it.
And then there's the process itself. The trial doesn't seem to be leading anywhere.
That's the point, I think. The sources describe it as symbolizing the human struggle for meaning in a universe that doesn't care. The process is the punishment. Being accused is the reality.
The endless delays, the confusing procedures, it guarantees no resolution.
It becomes an allegory for life, maybe, full of struggle, unanswered questions, searching for meaning that might not be there.
Yeah.
It mirrors that human condition of questing but always hitting limits.
For me, one of the most powerful scenes is the cathedral scene. Kay meets a priest.
Ah, yes. Pivotal. He's looking for answers, maybe some kind of guidance or solace.
And the priest tells him the parable before the law,
Mhm.
about the man from the country trying to access the law
Right, there's a doorkeeper who says he can't enter now, but maybe later, so the man waits.
for his whole life. He grows old and dies right there at the door.
And just before he dies, the doorkeeper tells him something devastating. That door was meant only for him.
Chilling. What does that even mean?
Well, it's incredibly layered. It seems to encapsulate Kay's whole struggle. Truth, justice, understanding maybe they're always just out of reach, or maybe the barriers aren't external, maybe they're internal, or inherent in the nature of the law itself.
It doesn't give Kay any answers, though.
Not really, only more questions. It reinforces that feeling of resignation, facing this unyielding indifference, whether it's the court or something bigger. The universe, perhaps?
So pulling back, what's the big philosophical takeaway here?
Well, as we touched on, it definitely anticipates existentialism, freedom, responsibility, the search for meaning in a meaningless void. But it's also a huge critique of just blindly obeying systems.
A warning against giving up your own thought, your own will, to some impersonal power, whether it's the state or bureaucracy or whatever.
Absolutely. Kafka wrote this way before existentialism was really a formal thing, but he nailed its core concerns. It's a powerful call to question authority, to look closely at how power works, and to resist just passively accepting things, even when it feels overwhelming.
And it just feels so relevant. Thinking about navigating, I don't know, healthcare systems, government websites, automated phone menus.
Yes, you get that little echo of Kay's frustration, that powerlessness. You're trying to solve something, but you can't even find the right person or understand the process. It's bewildering.
That resonance is why it lasts, isn't it? It taps into the shared anxiety about living in a world that feels increasingly complex and personal, where individuals can feel small against these huge faceless systems.
Exactly. It reminds us how easily systems can detach from their purpose, how something meant to serve can end up oppressing, and how that chips away at our sense of control, our sense of self.
So the universal message is unsettling, but also insightful. It makes you think about justice, power, meaning, all of it.
Yeah, it holds up a mirror to society, showing our vulnerabilities, but also to ourselves, our own struggles with guilt, doubt, the search for answers in a world that often doesn't give them.
It's a timeless meditation on those big human questions. Our relationship with authority, our search for meaning, how we deal with the absurd parts of life.
It really is a literary monument to that individual struggle.
And its literary importance is massive. Cornerstone of modernism, changed how novels could explore psychology and critique society. You see its influence everywhere.
But maybe the biggest legacy is just that word, Kafkaesque.
Right. It perfectly captures those specific nightmare situations, illogical, confusing, oppressive, futile, like Kay's trial.
The fact that we all kind of intuitively know what that means, even without reading the book, says everything. It shows how accurately Kafka depicted something fundamentally true about powerlessness and dread when facing incomprehensible systems. A testament to his insight.
So we've dug into The Trial, a novel whose legacy is still so strong, shaping how we see the world. Kafka's ideas about bureaucracy, absurdity, alienation, they don't feel old. They feel terrifyingly current, a warning and a mirror.
They absolutely do. His work really pushes us to look critically at the systems around us, to question the power structures we live within. It reminds you that thinking critically isn't just academic, it's vital for navigating our complex world.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If Josef K's search for meaning just ran up against this vast, indifferent universe, what does that make you want to seek or question in the systems that shape your life?
Yeah, and maybe understanding the Kafkaesque doesn't give you easy answers, but could it help you navigate those moments of confusion and powerlessness differently? Maybe just by recognizing the maze for what it is.
Something to think about as you encounter the complexities out there.